This is a KCRB News Special Report. Guns in America. Everyone carries 10 years later. With your host, Barbara Sinclair.
Good evening. I'm Barbara Sinclair, and welcome to KCRB's Special Report, Gun Control, Everyone Carries 10 Years Later. It has been 10 years since the Everyone Carries Act has been signed into law. After the assassination of President Barack Obama, the bill allowing every citizen over the age of 18 to carry a sidearm was unanimously passed by both houses and signed into law 10 years ago this week by President Joe Biden. The bill has also made provisions for high school students to carry a sidearm as long as they participate in the gun safety use and maintenance program in their local high school. Since the law was enacted, violent crimes such as armed robberies, assault, and domestic violence have dropped to all-time record lows. But no one can forget the bloodbath that took place during the first 5 years. Although the country was technically at peace, the years known as the Bloody Five still remain the deadliest time in American history. Because of their slow response in passing laws which define what constitutes illegal shooting, Congress has taken the blame for the Bloody Five. But in a recent study funded by Congress, it is the Napoleon complex, also known as the short man syndrome, that is responsible for the initial surge in carnage. The study claims that with a sidearm, all Americans are made equal, regardless of sex, race, religion, or size. Tonight I'll be interviewing 3 people from different walks of life, including the Governor of California, Jonah Fitzgerald. We'll be right back after this short break. I'm Barbara Sinclair, and welcome back to KCRB's Special Report, Gun Control, Everyone Carries 10 Years Later. I'm on the Folsom Boulevard branch of the popular fast food chain Happy Clown Burgers and Fries with store manager Joe Boyd. Joe, thank you for speaking with us today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
You began working for Happy Clown when you were just a senior in high school, is that correct?
That's correct.
And was the Everyone Carries Act in effect when you started?
No, that was about 6 months later.
And it was shortly after that you were wounded and 2 of your coworkers were killed by a disgruntled customer?
Well, not exactly.
Can you tell us what happened?
Well, I was working the register and a customer from the drive-thru came in and demanded to see a manager, but the customer just started yelling before the manager even got to the counter.
So the customer had gone through the drive-thru and there was a discrepancy with his order, so he came into the store to complain?
Right, but the customer was yelling really loud and the manager kept apologizing. The customer demanded a refund, but the manager said all she could do was remake the order. That's when the customer pulled out his gun and shot her in the chest and killed her.
And how did you get wounded?
Well, at that time, all the other customers pulled out their guns and just started shooting each other. And that's when the disgruntled customer was killed, and I got hit in the shoulder. But another coworker was wounded, and another was killed from all the gunfire.
And did you draw your gun?
No, I didn't carry at that time because I really didn't understand what was happening with the new law.
But I see you carry a gun now.
Absolutely.
And did anyone ever apologize for shooting either you or your coworkers?
No, never.
Well, you returned to Happy Clown after you recovered from your wounds, and obviously you've decided to make Happy Clown your career, but do you feel safe working here?
Oh, absolutely. Happy Clown has put up bulletproof glass at the drive-thru and at the registers, just like at a bank. And to keep that authentic restaurant atmosphere, Happy Clown installed vents at the top of the glass so the customers in the dining area can still smell the burgers and fries cooking.
And have you been involved in any other shooting incidents since you were wounded?
Yeah, I defended myself from an employee who pulled his gun on me after I cut his hours. And this one time at a grocery store, the lady in line in front of me thought her total was too high, so she pulled her gun on the checker. Luckily, I was able to pull my gun out first and got a shot off.
So you have 2 justified kills to your credit, one in self-defense and one in defense of human life?
That's correct.
And have you ever attended any guns training courses?
No. I have a simulation game for my PS7 and I play almost every day.
Joe Boyd, manager of Happy Clown Burgers and Fries in Sacramento. Thank you, Joe, for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with Gilbert Martinez, the gun safety teacher at Rosemont High School, and Governor Jonah Fitzgerald.
Mega Medicaid, California's premier one-stop shopping for quality cannabis and pharmaceutical narcotics. We have doctors on site ready to write prescriptions for medical conditions such as back pain, arthritis, insomnia, erectile dysfunction, hangnails, and excessive ear hair. Mega Medicaid, where Californians medicate.
Welcome back to KCRB's special report, Gun Control, Everyone Carries 10 Years Later. I'm Barbara Sinclair, and I'm here on the shooting range of Rosemont High School with Gilbert Martinez, the head of the Gun Safety, Use, and Maintenance Program. Thank you for having us on your shooting range. I have to admit, I'm very impressed with what I see.
Thank you, Barbara. As you can see, we're far enough away from the instructional buildings and several feet below the roadway so as not to endanger the students or the public.
Yeah, that must have been quite the expense to the taxpayers.
Well, Barbara, the Rosemont campus was built on an old quarry, and the district had been putting off filling in this area because of budgetary concerns. When Congress mandated that high schools must implement a firearm safety program, we crunched the numbers and found that we could build a model firearm safety facility for half the cost of filling in that pit.
And how long have you been a teacher?
About 20 years now.
So you were in front of a class during the Bloody Five?
Yes, I was teaching history at Rosemont.
Can you tell us a little about how the range works?
Absolutely. Firearm training courses are mandatory for all students who wish to carry a firearm on or off campus, beginning in the freshman year with gun safety, use, and maintenance, and continue until graduation. The first thing students learn is basic firearm safety. And once the students have a solid understanding of how to handle a firearm safely, we like to get them out to the range. Becoming a proficient marksman, like anything else, takes practice. So we like to get students sending rounds downrange as soon as safely possible. And then back inside to teach students how to clean, maintain their weapons so that it's always in good working order. But what's not mentioned in the course title is that the curriculum also includes fundamentals of what is a justified shooting according to the laws that help bring down the Bloody Five.
Recently, one of your varsity baseball players was shot and killed. And although he did not reach for a sidearm or attempt to physically hurt the shooter, the shooting was deemed justified because of the shooter's correct use of the law, which has caused some backlash from the player's family.
Yes, that's right.
Can you tell us what happened?
Well, the shooter was a sophomore with physical disabilities.
What kind of disabilities?
I can't give the student's name or disclose her medical condition.
Sure, we understand that you cannot release the names of minors, but I understand that the ball player, he was a senior and he just received a scholarship from Louisiana State University.
That's correct, Barbara. He had won several Golden Glove awards and held just about every hitting record in the state.
What led up to the shooting?
Well, the ball player was harassing the girl about her disability.
Harassing her in what way?
He was making offensive remarks about her disability, and on one occasion it got so bad she began to cry. A member of the teaching staff witnessed that incident and brought it to the attention of the administration.
And once the school was notified, did they take any action?
Of course, the ball player was counseled and made aware that his actions were inappropriate, and his parents were notified.
But that didn't solve the issue.
No, the ball player continued to harass the girl.
And did she bring it up to the attention of the school?
Yes. After the second incident, the ball player was given sensitivity training.
What did the sensitivity training include?
Well, it was 30 minutes of instructional video, and of course his parents were notified again. And after the third incident occurred, he was suspended from playing for half a game.
And the school documented all 3 of these incidents?
Absolutely. But when the girl began having even more difficulty walking, she came to school in a wheelchair, and the ball player began to haze her verbally. And when he prevented her from entering the classroom by using his foot, she drew her handgun from her shoulder holster and fatally shot the ball player. Because of the documentation of all three incidents, the shooting was deemed justified because the girl was protecting her psychological well-being.
KCRB has obtained court documents filed from the attorney representing the ball player's parents, alleging that the girl used excessive force because she emptied her entire clip into the young man.
Yeah, but since the girl was using a small caliber weapon, the ball player was large and heavily muscled, he didn't go down. So as she was taught, she continued until her clip was empty.
Were any bystanders hurt?
No, all of the rounds hit the ball player at areas capable of causing fatal wounds.
And you attribute her accuracy to the firearms training course here at Rosemont?
Absolutely, Barbara. Since the training course was implemented, injuries to bystanders have dropped by 78%, and injuries caused by the accidental discharge of firearms has dropped by 92%.
Those are incredible statistics. Are you sharing your success with other schools?
Of course, we are assisting schools statewide in improving their firearm safety programs.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, Barbara.
We'll be right back with Governor Jonah Fitzgerald.
Come on down to Greg's Ammo Emporium and save, save, save on all reloading supplies and equipment, because you're not equal if you're out of ammo. Mention this ad and save an extra 10%. Greg's Ammo Emporium, helping to keep all Americans equal.
I'm Barbara Sinclair, and welcome back to KCRB's special report, Gun Control, Everyone Carries 10 Years Later. I'm in the governor's office, sitting here with Governor Jonah Fitzgerald. Welcome, Governor, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here and have this opportunity to talk to you and your viewers about gun safety. I also want to let everyone know about some of the upcoming events sponsored by the state that'll help make the Everyone Carries law more effective.
Before we get into those programs, I'd like to talk about your history with the Everyone Carries Act. When the law was first passed, you were a state senator. You opposed the law, and you vigorously petitioned for Californians to exercise their right not to carry.
Yes, that's correct. The Everyone Carries Act has drastically reduced the violent crime, not only here in California, but nationwide. But the number of bystanders hit during justified shootings and the number of deaths caused by the accidental discharge of firearms remains alarmingly high. Every study to date shows that firearm training programs drastically reduce the number of injuries to bystanders during shootings and almost completely eliminates accidental discharges from firearms. I believe government at the state, federal, and local levels should be 100% involved in making gun safety programs available to everyone who carries with a minimal out-of-pocket expense to participants in the program.
Are there any particular incidents that have caused you to start carrying a sidearm?
No, it wasn't because of any single incident. If you recall, during the Bloody Five, politicians were being shot on sight, and political events were turning into running gun battles in the streets.
And you were one of the few politicians who continued to campaign out in the open.
That's right. You can't be in touch with the people if you're hiding behind bulletproof glass. But at the same time, I was getting tired of being the victim. Even with a large security force, people were still taking shots at me. Carrying a sidearm and shooting back is what finally brought down the number of shootings at my public speaking events.
Since you started carrying a sidearm, you've been credited with 7 justified kills, which have all led to death. But you are also credited with the deaths of 11 bystanders.
Yes, and I apologize to the families of each of the bystanders. But I would like to also point out that since I began taking firearm safety programs, the number of bystanders hit at each of my shootings has decreased dramatically. And in my 4 most recent shootings, no bystanders were hit by me, and all the rounds that I fired hit the intended target in an area that caused fatal wounds. So I firmly believe in firearm safety because from my personal experience, I know gun safety programs work.
Will you be taking that message with you to the public?
That's right. For the rest of my term, I'll be traveling up and down the state promoting shooting days with the governor, where I'll be on the range shooting with average citizens. We'll have certified instructors on hand to give shooting tips so everyone can learn to shoot and qualify at the advanced levels. Recently, I became a certified gun safety instructor, and I'll be teaching gun safety classes as well. At all the events, there will be gunsmiths on hand to answer maintenance questions and to adjust your gun sights for free. We'll also be giving away free ammunition. In addition to free ammo at events that I attend, the state will be handing out free ammo at similar local events, such as shooting days with the mayor.
Free ammunition, isn't that kind of a throwback to the days of buffalo hunting in the Great Plains?
No. I'm sorry. Let me clarify that. The free ammo is for use on the range the day of the event. It's so everyone can practice and qualify, including low-income families.
So no one can just show up, grab some free ammunition and leave?
That's correct. It must be used on the range that day.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and it's more than just training. We're going to have shooting activities for adults and children.
There has been ongoing debate about legalizing the open carry of shotguns and rifles. What is your stance on this issue?
I'm opposed to the open carry of rifles because they are an offensive, not a defensive weapon, and shotguns inflict far too much collateral damage.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with a few final words after these short messages.
Mega Medicate, California's premier one-stop shopping for quality cannabis and pharmaceutical narcotics, is proud to announce the grand opening of our psychiatric services. Mega Medicate now has psychiatrists on site and standing by to prescribe LSD, magic mushrooms, and peyote. As part of our psychiatric services, Mega Medicate provides group therapy rooms designed to enhance your hallucinogenic experience, and our trained staff is there to ensure a safe and sane therapy session. Mega Medicate, we care about your trip.
Welcome back to KCRB's special report, Gun Control. Everyone Carries 10 Years Later. I'm Barbara Sinclair. In the 10 years since the Everyone Carries Act was signed into law, the debate over arming citizens with a sidearm has ended, and the issue has become how to carry safely. What this KCRB report makes clear is that the only true victims are those who choose not to carry. Thank you for watching KCRB's special report, Gun Control. Everyone Carries 10 Years Later. I'm Barbara Sinclair.